Hi, everybody. I'm Jim. Thanks for having me tonight. This is awesome. What a great setup. Very nice. Well, I am fortunate enough to have a side project with Johnny Hickman. It's called the Hickman Dalton Gang. And I'm going to start off with one of those. By request. Wherever he went.
Right back.
There he is. Well, my name is Dalton. I am the last Dalton man. My brothers are gone now. I am the last of the clan. We never surrendered, and we never ran. My name is Dalton. I am the last Dalton man. Once rode this country back when it was young. We had us some hard times, we had us some fun. We took what we wanted and we shared with our friends. My name is Dalton. I am the last Dalton man. Lord, I remember the day that I saw my brothers all shot down by the law. They asked for no mercy as they bled on the sand. My name is Dalton. I am the last Dalton man. Sometimes at night, Lord, I dream of those days. I wake up screaming, I wake up afraid. It's cold in this prison, so far from my friends. My name is Dalton. I am the last Dalton man. My name is Dalton. I am the last Dalton man.
I think that's a difficult question to answer.
Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Dylan Box. One more to go. I'm your host, Ryan Harsh.
And I'm Chris LeRoy.
And we are a video cast where we talk about one of our favorite artists ever living, Bob Dylan. We usually just, kind of pick an album in isolation and discuss it. However, with this episode, we're doing something a little bit different. Where we're going to take what we call our 1-2 punch of a Dylan, and we're going to pick one album, followed in sequence by another one that we feel is stronger, or just as strong, or a great companion piece. Together they make a wonderful package. So I've done mine. Now I'm going to give it to you, Chris. Why don't you show us, grab the box there and pull out what you think is one of Dylan's 1-2 punches.
For me today is a very well-known album. A lot of the tracks, which was followed up. So this kind of into 74 and then 75 hedging into 76.
Right.
Is Desire.
Oh, yes.
And it's fun to talk about artists who have a series of great albums. Really judge some of the greats by them having a string of just superlative works. And how hard is it to do one A+ album, right? Much less have two or three things in a row.
record almost.
Yeah, and you could go back into to Dylan's early, anyway, Blonde on Blonde, those three albums in a row, Bring It On Back Home. Those are three records that are just so powerful and cement him as this preeminent artist of that era.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, there's kind of not a lull. There's still great albums, but they're not as celebrated until you get to Blood on the Tracks. 1974, and you figure Dylan's already contributed some wonderful music in between that time, but it's an album that was so powerful, so artistically successful, tells such an seemingly personal story that's every bit as powerful as the old Dylan. They're saying, well, I like the 60s Dylan, this album. Everyone could agree that this stands completely on par with that music, if not only maybe a step better, in that he's a more mature artist and he's seemingly speaking personally. It's an album that almost seems like it's done from the inside.
Yeah.
One of the wonderful books that you might be interested in tracking down is called A Simple Twist of Fate. Bob Dylan and the Making of Blood on the Tracks by Andy Gill and Kevin
Odegaard.
Odegaard. It's small printing for me. Kevin being one of the musicians in Minnesota who plays uncredited on this album.
Okay.
You get this whole arc about how this record was made in New York.
He made it twice. Much,
He made this album, had it in New York. Big time producer. Covers printed. Liner notes done.
Yeah.
And he keeps calling him up and saying, I'm not sure about this record. I'm not sure about this record. Other folks that he had played the music for found it, the original recordings, the New York recordings, fascinating. There's some very stark, just him and his guitar versions of these songs. Joni Mitchell had told him this is the best thing you've ever done. But he felt the need to go back. And in this book, you get a wonderful sense of where he ends up. Bob's a serious guy. It was a serious night. This was very quiet, deliberate letting out of all the inside of him. I really think of the album as a chance for people who were my age to embrace Dylan, because we were too young in some ways to embrace him fully when this music was going on in 65 and 66.
Right.
So
as you were coming of age and maturing,
I'm 11 years old, I'm still young, and I'm hearing, some songs on the radio, but I'm not, I already loved his music, but I wasn't absorbed in the way I would be at another age. So this album comes out, and this is the Dylan for my age. I think in some ways he found himself again artistically and put a stamp on what he was going to be. Because I'm this preeminent songwriter and I can make songs do anything.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be the rock me. It doesn't have to be the Nashville Skyline me or something. It really doesn't make a difference.
Right.
The band can shift. But whatever my vision is for this sound, I'll know it when I hear it.
And he never really toured behind this album, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, he just, I think it took enough work to get the album done.
Yeah.
So, 1-2 punch,
There
right
you go.
after it,
Okay.
here comes the album that's much less critically acclaimed in a way. But it was an enormous hit.
Yeah.
It was the #1 album. And you had folks, again, myself, I remember me and John Hickman talking about this album intensely, about how important this album was to us. Well, it's not it's not blonde on blonde, but it is Dylan saying, okay, I found my artistic voice.
Right.
I did the Inside album. Now from then on,
Mm-hmm.
it's really Dylan's music from him going outside.
Right.
And so I'm going to find other bands and
Ah.
other sounds. He wanted to make something that sounded completely different from Blood on the Tracks.
Absolutely.
Even to go back to the Village.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look at this lady. She's playing
Yeah.
the violin.
Playing
Hey,
fiddle on the
want
corner of New York.
you want to come and play on my band?
Yeah.
How about you guys? Jacques
Yeah.
Levy, you want to write some songs together?
Yeah.
Let's get together and listen. He says, instead of this very singular, I'm the vision, I'm going to reach outside of myself and collaborate.
Right.
Find some people to play. Put this band together. At the beginning, it was too big.
Mm-hmm.
He had all sorts of people in the studio. Eric Clapton was
kind
in
of a
there.
mess.
It's a big mess.
Yeah.
Too much music.
Yeah.
But out of it, when it all went away, you have this story songs about things that are outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, if you see her say hello, it's about Hurricane Carter. It's about Joey
Gallo.
the mobster.
Yeah.
It's about it's Mozambique. It's about
Yeah.
there's almost kind of a whirlwind tour of the different things that he takes on as these stories,
Right.
and it's refreshing.
It is.
In its environment, it has he creates a place and a meaning and a sound that we had never heard from him
Right.
before, and I think for the rest of his time,
Would we hear it since?
well, not so much.
Right. Yeah. Because
Not really.
the band that he played with on this, they didn't play with him again, right? Like it was just after the tour and everything.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was it. But that tour,
Yes.
again, that it leads into that tour that has that punch and energy. So
Right.
so and you look in terms of a 1-2 punch, he created this artistic vision of himself, resurgence, kind of planted his feet and said,
Right.
I'm Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
I can write some pretty tough songs, and now
Sure.
I'm going to play with someone seesawing on that.
If we
Out
look
of
at
tune,
the record cover, I'm trying to put
violin.
this up, that's falling over, but
Yeah.
if we look at the covers, one Dylan's looking this way, Dylan's looking that way. Like, what do you want? But he's looking back, and then he's looking forward, right?
Ooh, it's sort of a tale of two lands. This personal place,
Yeah.
and then so he's looking out to the
Mhm.
future.
In his underwear, playing in that dirty air. His daddy's in the Chino jail. He'll grow up to be dumb as dirt by 23, with the county sheriff on his trail. 714, who's that knocking on my door? It's the San Bernardino Boy. 909, everybody hide, it's the San Bernardino Boy. I seen him over by the keg, dancing on his broken leg, blisters rising on his sunburned hide. Later on tonight, he'll be starting up a fight till those billy clubs commence to wail. Yeah! 714, who's that knocking on my door? The San Bernardino Boy. 909, somebody kill the lights, it's the San Bernardino Boy. Here we go. Yeah, 714, who's that knocking on my door? It's the 909, somebody kill the lights, it's the San the San Bernardino Boy. It's that San Bernardino Boy. Look out. It's the San Bernardino Boy. It's the San Bernardino Boy.
In the dull and commonplace occurrences of day-to-day living, one thing stands out as a completely unique experience. Colt 45 malt liquor.
Hello, Bob and Lisa, the BELLRAYS. Welcome to the Lo-Fi Lounge.
Nice to be a part of the Lo-Fi Lounge.
So how you guys doing? I know that you're at this moment in flux,
Yeah,
getting ready to go on a tour as the BELLRAYS. Since when?
2020, since February, no, January.
of 2020.
January of 2020 was the
Yeah.
last tour. The next one we were supposed to start was March of 2020. And we got the no-fly order, and we haven't been out on the road since then.
At the beginning of that pandemic, we communicated a lot just about, the impact and how to use what we do as creative people, what to do with our time that can be valuable for us, but also valuable going outside. And you guys have done just tremendous work, keeping the love alive, right? Keeping that communication going
I feel like
in a
that.
very unique way. Talk about that, because your live pieces have been, like rock solid.
You have this thing that you're used to being able to just go and do, as well as just that general shock that everyone was going through because there was a pandemic going on. And they were saying everybody had to stay at home and you were in these little bubbles and all this stuff. And then Bob and I just kind of realized, well, we're in our own bubble. We can still do stuff.
Right.
And so we felt like we should do something. And I'm really glad that we did, because I feel like we helped people, and it helped us. It helped us just kind of put things in a perspective that was different from what we were used to seeing. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from what the pandemic did, is just created this space for you to look at things differently.
And all the people that you're reaching out to, and that conversation, people, would connect you, Thursdays or Tuesdays, and it would feel like a really healing dialogue.
Yeah, it really gives you that separation of like, okay, what is it about this lifestyle that I like? And what is it about it, what is there that I don't like? And is there a way to, reassemble this thing so it's even more appealing than what I was doing before?
Right.
Touring is hard. Touring is getting in the van and, you don't know what's going on. You have a schedule, but it's 8 hours in the van, or it's 6 hours in the van, or it's plane rides to Europe or across Europe. It's making
Right.
planes, it's doing all that kind of stuff. And, it's really grueling. And if the whole point is to like make music and have people listen to music, well, the pandemic kind of just showed us how to do it you know, or at least gave you that moment of like, well, I can't do it this other way. So,
Right.
you know,
It made it real easy to pull the trigger.
yeah.
Tell us about the tour.
The tour is, we're really lucky that this is a very short dip into touring. We had a complete US tour that was booked that ended up getting canceled at the last minute. It was supposed to go from mid-April, so we would have left a week ago and be halfway through the US right now, starting in Denver, ending in Los Angeles, but that got canceled. It was 6 weeks, and now this thing that we're doing is 5 days. We get to kind of dip our foot in, but we also have to go overseas and see what it's like actually having to travel, but not having to do it all under the duress of like our future summer tour, which is going to be 6 weeks. Prior to that, we'd been pretty insular.
Oh yeah.
You
And you know, you get phone calls saying, hey, would you guys want to do this? No.
Yeah.
No.
It's
You
really
know,
easy to say. We
yeah.
learned how to say no a lot. And,
Right.
you know, there's different ways to do what it is we do. We always thought, well, you got to be on the road. You got to do it this way. This has opened up our lives to a different reality. Like, we don't plan on letting go of doing stuff online simply because we're going back to being on the road.
Right. And it's the thing of, again, you know, if you're there, if you go to the show, it's not just another opportunity for you to flick through your Instagram while the band is playing, you know, or be on your phone, or you know, talk to your friend really loud right at the front of the stage. You know, it's not that. And I'm hoping that, you know,
I'm hoping that's not what people miss.
right. And I'm hoping, yeah, I'm really hoping that they'll appreciate this return.
What country are you going to be in? Where are you going to
We're
go?
gonna be in three. We're going to be
separate
there. Three
countries.
separate countries. We have 3 shows in 3 different countries: France, Netherlands, and Belgium, in that order. So we fly to tomorrow, which is Thursday. We arrive in France on Friday. Our first show is in France. Our second show, the next day, is in the Netherlands. And then the third show is in Belgium. And then the next day we go back home.
I thank you, Bob. Thank you, Lisa.
Absolutely.
Sure thing.
And I'll have it up by Friday just so we can get people prepped. You know.
Awesome.
Okay, my
Awesome.
friends.
We'll be watching. We'll be watching.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Nous allons voir combien de temps vous allez résister. Yes! Yes! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! We are here for you. Here to do everything we need to do, to move, to rock, to soul, to feel, to wow. Are you ready to make noise? Are you starting to say? Do you get so excited that you need something to pay? I can give you the picture if you wanna get straight. I can give you the best thing. Take it before it's too late. Everybody, get up. We wanna have a good time. Everybody, get up. We're gonna have a good time. Yeah. Now you're starting to set some. Now you're starting to move. Oh, you're pleasure. You gotta feel the pain. You gotta live in the movement. We may never get back again. Your job is never that important, and your work will never be done. Oh, you gotta wanna live it all right now. Tomorrow may never, ever, ever. Oh, everybody, this is your time. If you wanna have a good old, hey, have a good time. You gotta wanna keep it deep inside. You gotta want it, yeah, 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 yeah. Get on up, get on down, get on up, get on down, get on up, get on down, get on. Everybody, everybody.
Well, I wish that I knew the answer, or at least could keep the questions straight. And it may just be the season, or I may be running late. So I turn back on my reason, but I still can't concentrate at all. And it may just be the season, or I may be in my fall. But I know that you're not dreaming, and I know that I'm running late. So I'll turn back on my reason, but I still can't concentrate at all. And it may just be the season, or I may be in my fall. But I know that you're